Hey folks, I'm going to take you through the Vice Prep. So I'm going to show you the finished project, not finished project, but finished product for the prep. You need a 2" by 2" square with the mill scale removed where we're going to weld. Let's see how accurate I've been. So let's see. So you can see a little bit of daylight on that corner. Let's check the other. And you can see a little bit of daylight there. So I'm not perfectly square. Our goal is going to be within a 1/16 of an inch. So I'm definitely in within a 1/16. So far I've got 4 prepared. So we're going to do the last 2 together. Oops. Okay, so first thing that we need to do is you need a sharp piece of soapstone. The more accurate your cut is, the less grinding you have to do. So I'm over at my grinder, wearing my shield. Just gonna put a little grind on the side of the soapstone, make it extra sharp. I already have like thinner soapstone than we have in the shop, but especially for you with the big old fat 1/8 of an inch soapstone, make sure to get a grind on it. Okay, so a lot of us are going to be using the chop saw to do our dice. So this is a chop saw. Basically, it's a big grinder wheel, meaning this is going to shoot sparks. It's definitely a fire risk. You definitely need to wear the same PPE as when you grind. So face shield, gloves, jacket, etc. Notice this. I have the metal resting on this wooden block to make sure that it's straight across. The more accurate you cut your metal, the less grinding you're going to have to do. So we'll put some metal blocks outside so you can prop up the metal, keep it from sagging. So I'm going to switch you over to this side, and we're going to lay out the cut. So we said 2 inches. It's a 2" square. So I'm going to show you a couple methods to do that. Okay, so I'm on the other side of the blade. Method number 1, I can take my tape measure to 2 inches. Give myself a little more room. So go to 2 inches and put a mark. I don't want a big old fat mark. I want a skinny mark. The skinnier the mark, the more accurate I can be. Another method I could use is I could use my combo square like we used last week, and I can set my combo square to 2 inches. Then I can just slide my combo square up, and then I'm going to have a repeatable measurement. So either one is fine, using a combo square or using the tape measure. Okay, so now I'm going to move the metal to where the blade is. It's not a blade, it's a grinding wheel or a cutting wheel. Now this part's important. The blade has a width. It's called a kerf, meaning that I need to be careful of which side my mark is on. In this case, my mark is to the right of the cutting wheel because I don't want to cut my piece too short. So my mark is to the right of the cutting wheel. Not sure if you can see that or not. So I'm gonna put my gloves on. Shield on. Notice that I let the blade speed up before I started cutting. I want to get it moving fast before I touch the metal. One more thing I want to show you. This is called a speed nut. This right here, it's a speed nut. And what it does is it acts as a screw when it's loose or when it's tight. So the way that I held the metal was I tightened this down. But there's a cool feature of the speed nut is when you flip it over, then it slides out and in. So it makes it just faster to get your material in. So you want to move fast, you go up, you slide it in, flip it over, and then you can tighten it down. Another thing that's kind of confusing about the chop saw is how it locks down. So you see this button right here, that will lock it down. So if you get to the chop saw and it's in this like crouched position, that's because it is locked down. Okay, your next step is going to be removing the mill scale. So you get a good strong weld. So I'm just going to grind it off. I'm not using a wire wheel. I do want to take off the mill scale with a grinder. At this point, I'm not trying to grind the whole thing. I'm just grinding the edges. Okay, so there's my finished product. Let's throw a tape on it and see how accurate I was. So here, this is the factory edge. So when I say a factory edge, it's the edge that I didn't cut. This was the outside of the flat bar. So the factory edge is perfectly 2. Let's see how close I was. Okay, so you can see that I was a little bit off. I'm like at 2 1/16. It's better to be big than small. If it's small, you have to cut a whole new piece. If it's big, you just have to grind it down a little bit. So as we saw, I'm a 16th big. So we got to grind that down. So I'm going to show you how I know how to grind that down. So we're not going to bother measuring. We're going to take 2 pieces and we're going to put them opposites. So the shiny one is the cut edge and the gray edge is the factory edge. So you can see on one, cut edge, factory, cut edge, factory. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of them and I'm going to match them up like that. So I got the factory edge on one and the cut edge on the other. And if I turn it, you'll see that they're always one way, one the other way. Now I'm going to go over to my vise. And I'm going to be really careful about placing these into my vise. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure that they're flat on the bottom. So they're flat against the vise. Get rid of my earplugs. Flat against the vise, and then without moving them, I'm gonna put them in the vise and clamp them down. So let's take a look at the side view. Let's raise you up a little bit. Okay, so I don't know if you can pick this up, but the cut edge is just a little bit higher than the factory edge. Remember, I cut it a little bit too high. It was 2 1/16, so I got to grind off a 16th. So what I'm going to do is, I was really careful about. I'll do it again with you watching. I'm being really careful about that. They're flat on the vise. Now I put them in the vise. Now, if I grind this without touching the factory edge, I'll know that it's perfectly 2 inches. So I'm only going to grind the cut edge. I'm not going to grind the factory edge. Or rather, I'm just going to grind the factory edge a little bit to get the mill scale off. Okay, so let's see how that looks. Okay, so what I did is I just went until they were as even as I could get them. So you can see this is the factory edge. I just took off a little the mill scale there. I tried not to go down at all. Now here's the trick. I'm gonna rotate it. So I'm gonna do the same thing, but this time I rotated them so that a different edge is up. So let's see. There you can see. So now I'm just going to grind this one here. And I'm going to swap batteries real quick. Okay. Again, I do not want to go too far. I just want to grind it until the cut edge meets the factory edge. Okay, so now I've done 2 edges. So 1 edge, 2 edges, and now I'm going to rotate it again because I got 2 more to go. But now they're basically the same height. You can see they're basically the same height. So all I'm doing is just a skim pass to get the mill scale off. And also, I know this is confusing, so when you get to this step, grab me and I'll help you set them up so that you can get the mill scale off. So that time I wasn't removing any real metal, I was just removing the mill scale. Okay, and now I have one last edge. So again, I'm gonna make sure that they're flat on bottom. Okay, so let's see how I did. So lengthwise, You can see that I am just shy of 2 inches. So I did take off a little bit, maybe like 1/2 which is a 32nd. Let's see how square I am. So pretty square. You can see this corner, I can see a little daylight. That one's pretty good. That's pretty much, again, this corner I can see a little daylight. Okay, so that's how I recommend doing it. I'll bring you back to tack these up. But the more accurate you are and the better you do your grinding, the more square your cube is going to be, your dice is going to be, and the better the higher grade it's going to get. I'll bring you back when I tack up the pieces.